F&G shit. F&G shit. Shot
Big homie Trey Boogie.
We slide.
Johnny Rocket.
Sliding in the rentals, trying to run the milli up. In the southeast, Trey Boogie been a plug. Rubber bands on the blues, hella panoramic views. If you get into it with the squad, you can never lose. It's on the flow like Yellow Rider. I got your vibe on her toes like nail polish. In the city, we get respected from everybody. You about to pull up on Trey Boogie, now let's chop. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. Let's chop it up. Got it wet, it's not a cut. Ain't worried about what nobody else got, cause I got enough. Me and Trey Boogie locked in, he threw a lob, I dunk. Heard the beat and sauced it up, can't nobody go hard as us. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, it's Trey Boogie, your big homie's big. This is Let's Chop It Up. Hey, I'm excited for today, right? I've been waiting to get this person on right here, man. Like, y'all don't know how much he mean to me, how much he mean to Let's Chop It Up, and how much he should mean to San Diego, right? And he don't do a lot of interviews, but I was blessed to have him on tonight. He told me yes. I'm about to introduce the some and present the others. The multi-award winning, Canada's premier DJ, Immortal, man. Immortal, what's happening with you? Immortal. What's happening? Let me bring you on. Excited.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yes,
You're making
yes,
this cracker
sir.
blush over here, bro. You're making me blush.
I can't hear you. Uh-oh.
Oh, can you hear me?
Let me see something. Something ain't right. Can I hear?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
There we go. Hey,
there we go.
Let me get that now. Hey, we got DJ Immortal on Let's Chop It Up, y'all. Hey, stand up, man. If y'all are a follower of the show, y'all know I always mention him. He was the reason I was the podcast was being played in Canada. He's been so inspirational for me, you know, helping me out with Let's Chopping It Up. And on top of that, man, just being a friend, man. People come in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And this is my lifetime brother, man. DJ Immortal, man. What's happening with you, fam?
Oh, man, just enjoying my night, man. Just got back from the gym not too long ago. You know what I mean? Put in that work, but now I'm all yours, and of course, all chopping up tonight, man.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Immortal got the fancy headphones.
Mic check.
There we go.
It says on my end it's working. You can hear me now? Okay.
Now I could hear you.
I was gonna say, as for me, man, just got back from the gym. What? I was like, I'm gonna take the headphones right off, man.
Okay.
I'm gonna take them right off. Clearly, they're not. So, there we go. Is that better?
Yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
There we go. Perfect. That's better. Perfect. You can hear me good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. There's no feedback.
Got feedback.
Got feedback.
Don't you hate that? Everything was just working.
Everything was just
There we go.
There shouldn't be any feedback now, eh?
Test.
Test it. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We're good.
Okay. Perfect. That's what I want to hear.
That's the problem
with
technology, man. Everything was just working. We go live. But yeah, DJ Immortal, man. Thank you for blessing my platform. I know you heard what I just said. I'm not going to repeat it, but go ahead and let them know.
Man, I appreciate you, man.
Man. So we going to, go ahead and let them know, I call it the elevator pitch. Give them a quick 2 minutes of who you are, where you come from, what you do, for the ones that may not know. And if you don't know who DJ Immortal is, you ain't been paying attention.
Well, I am a three-time award-winning, I think 5-time nominated DJ. In 2021, I got nominated for Canada's Walk of Fame. It's kind of like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, but the Canadian version, so it's not as prestigious, but for Canadians, it's highly prestigious. So just to be nominated in a Canada's Walk of Fame where greats like John Candy have a star and Keanu Reeves and so many other amazing Canadians, and I just got a chance to get nominated. I knew I wasn't going to get a star, but besides the point. Aside from all that, I am an owner of not one but 2 radio stations. One is now no longer in service, which is 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM. And of course, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. Radio personality that also hosts a podcast interviewing wrestlers. I've done multiple mixtapes. I've been featured on hip-hop artist albums. I mean, I've done so much, man, that I sit back and I'm trying to say it all. And I know I'm missing so much, man, but I'm just living one day at a time and enjoying my ride in life, man. Growing up where I have been, man, the experience I've been through, the things that I've done, the things I've seen, to being able to look at my life and be like, wow, man, this is what I'm doing with my life. It's absolutely a blessing, man.
Don't pass over that, fam. I know the story, but it's for them to know the story, right? So we're not going to pass up on growing up, how and what you came through. Let's talk about that. Tell them who's DJ Immortal. Let them know. And how you become DJ Immortal. From Brandon to DJ Immortal, the whole story. What you've been through, what you overcome, and where you at now.
Well, so I will make this short because this is pretty much, I could probably do a seminar on this, but growing up, I grew up in foster homes and group homes and all that fun stuff. Not really fun, obviously, but I just like saying it's fun, make myself believe it. Grew up in foster homes, group homes, bullied at home, bullied at school. Music was that one avenue that I had in my life that really kept me kind of balanced. You know what I mean? Like, I felt, when you have the music and the headphones in, motherfuckers talk shit, excuse my language, I don't know if I can swear, but people talk crap, but you can't really hear them if you have the music in. So music was my savior. I literally, since I was a kid right up until now, my nickname in high school was iPod because I always had headphones in. So growing up, foster homes, group homes, I also was in an abusive relationship where I almost got killed. I am not afraid to admit it. I am a domestic abuse survivor. I live with a fractured skull every single day of my life. And I say that publicly because I want other men that go through that type of stuff to actually be able to have the courage to speak out about it. Because obviously women get abused, but so do men. So I dealt with that situation in my early 20s. Then I met my beautiful wife. Shout out to her. She's beside me. Met her, and my life started getting better, man. So I will say it's all because of music. It's where I am today. So never give up. That is the main criteria here. Never give up. Follow your dreams. And if people tell you you're not going to be shit, prove them wrong, man. Don't let them be right. Prove them wrong. I got told many times that I'd end up dead or in prison. And I'm neither of those. Because if I'm dead right now, the afterlife is pretty goddamn sweet.
Hey, let's talk about, we're going to go through the whole thing. So let's talk about 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM, where I was honored enough to be a part of the station, right, as a sponsor, and as you replaying, publishing my podcast on your radio station, right? Along with a lot of people in San Diego, they may not want to say it or not, but we got them on. We hooked it up. I told you about this and that. A lot of them, not all of them, but and that was just the love, because I seen the love you had for it. For hip hop. We talking about 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM right now, right? And we're going to talk about how you created that and how that came about. But you did so much work. Like, I remember when I first started following you, and then I remember one time I was doing a show, I was like, oh, DJ Immortal, okay, what's up? Whoop de whoop. And then I reached out to you, needing help, asking for assistance, man, and it was just love. Like, you didn't have no problem helping a brother like me out, So let's talk about the creation of that station, that format, right? It's still there. It's just, let's talk about how when it clicked that, you know what? I want to create this radio station and I want to interview all these legends, which you have. We're going to get into that in a minute, but let's just talk about that whole process.
Man, as for that radio station, bro, this is a crazy story. So I actually was down on my luck. I was, in and out of a job. I was working, I think, at a hardware store, Rona. I think it was Rona. And I got laid off. They didn't need any lumber, yard workers anymore. So I was down on my luck trying to find a job. Couldn't find nothing. So it was actually got to the point where I was searching and searching, but I needed something to keep my mind off of it. So I don't know what it was. I was just out of nowhere. I looked at my wife and I sat up. I was laying on the couch. I'm like, I'm going to create a podcast. I'm like, I don't even care at this point. I need something to keep my mind busy. So I downloaded an app called Spreaker and I did a podcast. I think I had 30 listeners on my first podcast, my first episode then. And I was just like, yo, this is kind of cool. I have 30 people listening. I'm literally just doing this out of nowhere. I had a cell phone and a pair of headphones kind of like these. And that was pretty much it. And then people were like, yo, I love this music. Where do you find these tracks? This is so old school. I love it. So, and then I started doing it more and more and more. And then I realized I have something here. I didn't have a lot of listeners. I had 20 people. But to me, that was 20 people that I didn't even know listening. So I was like, okay, I have something here. So I created my an Instagram account, a Twitter, just for that podcast. And I remember Deuce, he works a lot with Young Noble of Tupac's rap group, The Outlaws. And he hit me up, and all that he said was, you got a new podcast, I got a new record. Let's do an interview. So I didn't even know how the hell to do an interview at this point. I knew when I was younger my dream was to be in the music industry, but I never really knew kind of how I wanted to get in the music industry. It was always a dream of mine. So I was like, I looked at the wife, I'm like, should I even do this? I don't know how to do a damn interview, right? So I will admit it, at that current time, I Googled how to do an interview. And it was pretty substantial how to do an interview, right? So I said, sure, let's do it. So I set it up and I reached out to a few underground artists at the time just to kind of test the waters of it, right? And I caught the bug, man. I loved it. After I got off the air, the person was so thankful. He's like, man, that was the first interview you ever did. No way. So, started speeding the process up a little bit. I interviewed Deuce. It went great. And everything started falling into place, man. So I was like, you know what? I was getting so many interviews and I was doing 3 or 4 radio shows a night. And then I realized, nah, man, I need to actually make a station. So I merged the podcast into a full-on radio station. And then it just blew up in my face, but in the good way.
Hey, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM. What made you, we talked about this, right? Because you used to plug me with some legendary people, right? And I'd be like, well, what do I say? I didn't want to, I wanted to come at them in not a fanboy, even though I'm a fan of everyone I bring on, but especially the legends, but to be able to keep it professional. What gave you that? I remember what you told me, just, shoot your shot, man, and just come at them. You got a tremendous platform. They would love to be on it, and you gave me that confidence. Who gave you the confidence to be able to just reach out to the people you were reaching out to?
Honestly, man, myself, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I think my whole life I've always been like judged and talked about, and in like not positive ways. Like, oh, there's Brandon Brown, there's the piece of shit, there's the fat fuck. Excuse my language, but you know what I mean? Like, that's what I got called. So I think at that point I was as dead inside that I didn't care what these artists thought of me. I'm going to contact them. I'm going to be professional. Obviously, I'm not going to be like, yo, I want an interview. I'm going to contact you professionally, talk to you like a human being, but I'm not going to really worry about, oh, am I going to get turned down? Is he going to answer the phone? I didn't think about that. I just was like, okay, Brandon Brown is over there. I'm DJ Immortal. I got business to do. So I just dialed the number and then, hey, how's it going, man? This is DJ Immortal of 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM. I have this radio station. I'd love to book you for an interview August 17th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're up for it, I can definitely send you more additional information. But if you want to set it up, we can definitely set it up. Like, that's just how I switch, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you got to have that confidence, man, because they will hear that. You know, it's almost like a bear with a scent. You give that aroma, man, you act scared, they're going to know.
Yeah, that's right. And that's basically what you told me, you know, and made me, you know, shoot for the stars, you know, and interview people I was interviewing before, you know, health issues got in the way. But it doesn't stop, it just continued. And you interviewed like legendary people. Like, what was that one interview that you got booked and actually did, where afterwards you were like, I think we got something here with 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM, because a lot of people in different states all over know DJ Immortal from Canada. You know what I mean?
I would say, if we're talking going like way back, I would say Deuce Deuce, but honestly, that was my first interview. I didn't really know if I was still going to keep doing it. But I would say when I actually had Mopreme Shakur booked and locked in, I remember, and I know I'm giving away secrets here, but I'll admit it. I was on a site called IMDb Pro. I don't know if it's still around. This was like 5 years ago. They had IMDb Pro where it had like all like the agents' numbers and stuff like that, where you can contact. It was like professional numbers. You pay like $20 a month to IMDb, and as everyone knows, like I was such a huge Tupac fan. And what's the closest thing to Tupac than his brother Mopreme, right? So I saw his number on there on IMDb Pro, and I was like, oh man, like I was scared shitless. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna call it. I called it, and not even like 2 minutes into the conversation, I heard it was his wife talking. Mopreme took the phone and was like, yeah, man, I'd love to do your podcast. And I'm like sitting there like with the phone in my hand, like trembling, like, oh my God. I think when Mopreme said yes and the interview just happened, I think when I hung up that phone that night, I was like, man, I got something here, dude. Like, this is really catching on. I just interviewed like Tupac's brother.
Right. Like, that's big. You know, that's big.
Yeah, man. I still can't believe it. Even though obviously this was years ago, I've interviewed so many people, man, that I even try and sit back and say, like, man, like, I really did that. Like, I still don't believe it. I try to remain humble. Like, I know I won many awards. I got nominated for tons. You know what I mean? I had the government recognize hip hop, man. Like, I actually have an award from the Chamber of Commerce, which is like the actual like government here in Prescott, that I actually have a certificate from the House of Commons, which is like Parliament, the White House of Canada. So it's like I made the government recognize hip hop, you know, which I consider that a win right there, man.
Man, hey, salute to you. You've been doing your thing. Like I said, you know, like me and, you know, a lot of the brothers you introduced me to still have a ongoing relationship. They still talk highly about you. There is one question that everybody want me to ask you, because you mentioned it, you spoke on it before it ever happened with the conclusion of.
I already know the question, bro. I already know.
FM. You were so up there, like people couldn't wait to get an interview with you, right? And then after the wars, during the wars, the whole lead up, even after on the wars, you said it's a wrap. I may bring it back, but it's a wrap. What made you say it's time for Immortal to venture off to something else? Because from that came 99.9 Punk World Radio, right?
Yeah. I will be honest, man, and I know everyone's been asking me this. The amount of DMs that I got, dude, and I will say this first and foremost, I ignored a lot of them because I get a lot of messages asking me that question, and it's not that I don't want to answer the question, which I'm going to answer tonight. You're getting the exclusive on this. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, a lot of people, let's put it to you like this. A lot of individuals, when they have something really big, they tend to latch onto that clout and use it, and suck it dry until it's all wrinkled, shriveled, and, I realized that I interviewed almost everybody I possibly could. I was interviewing some people like 3-4 times, different times on my station, and I realized, like, I was interviewing the same people. I was kind of in a way low-key losing the passion. I wasn't losing the passion for hip-hop per se, just my station, because it's like I was interviewing the same people over and over again. It was almost like I was a lot of work. I was going in a loop, and I kind of sat back. I was like, man, like, I love this station. It's always going to be my baby. Like, I felt like I grew it to the highest peak in the mountain. Like, there's Mount Everest. You can only climb so high before you slip and you on a patch of black ice and you start falling off the mountain like Homer Simpson. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to go off on a high note, because I think people will. I thought some people would respect it. A lot of people do. Some people don't, and I get that, and I respect that. Everyone has their own opinion of an individual and their life and business decisions. But I wanted to be remembered as the guy, like, wow, man, he had the biggest station in Canada. He was doing something so big, and then he just, like, had the brass balls to just stop and do something else and build that up to the top, right? Rather than, oh, that's DJ Immortal. He once had that station, like, 97. He was doing so great, but then he just sucked it dry, man. Like, interviewing the same people over and over again for 5 years, and, man, guy's a burnout. I want people to be like, yo, he had those nuts, bro, those brass balls to be like, man, I'm going out on a high note, I'm going to go do this. So, I mean, I try to think business and think 2 steps ahead. I still love 97.7. There's days where I sit back, man, and I will admit, I'm like, man, why did I close that down? You know what I mean? Like, but I will admit, I regret it, but I also don't regret it. Because I've made so many amazing relationships within just the hip-hop community like yourself, and I still keep in touch with a lot of individuals. And then I also get to have new experiences with my new radio station, right? That's opening other doors and other avenues for me in the music industry. But there is still that part of me that, it's almost like losing your first child. You know what I mean? Like, you're not supposed to, as a father, you're not supposed to see your child die. That's what I feel like in a way. A part of me is like, man, that's my baby. That's like what I grew and like nurtured and worked so hard.
It and nurture it. Yeah, you did that.
But I will say, though, my 97.7 is what actually made DJ Immortal. So the fact that I'm venturing off and whatnot, a lot of people ask me, why did you go into, like, punk rock and all that? I'm a DJ. A lot of people classified me as a hip-hop DJ. I'm a DJ in general. I love all music. I will admit I'm not a huge fan of
genres. Even country.
I'm not a huge fan of country.
You don't like country, but I like some country, man. Country be bumping. Some of that country, you be like, trying not to like it.
Okay, I will admit, I know this ain't a country show. I know this ain't a country show, but the one country singer that I do like is Brantley Gilbert, man. That's the only one that I can actually sit back and be like, you know what? This redneck's pretty lit.
That's right. So you let me ask you this. You miss it. That was your baby. You mentioned that it may come back one time, before. Have we seen the last of 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM?
Well, I will be honest with you. I can't answer exactly because I don't want to say, yes, it's the last, and I don't want to say no. I will say right now in the foreseeable future, my current project, my current eyes are for 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. But I'm not saying no, and I'm not saying yes, because I don't want to give anybody that, like, oh my god, Immortal says it's coming back, and then I don't do it, right? But I will say this. I still own 97.7. A lot of people have asked me, have you sold it? Are you willing to sell it? I'm not willing to sell it. I still own my copyrights. I still own my paperwork. I still own everything. So I still have a business license that's valid until 2026. I'm still going to re-up that business license, because here in Canada it's only like $49.99 to re-up your business license. So I'm going to keep that stuff active. So right now I could pretty much just, bam, launch it back up. I will say, at this time, not right now, but there has been parts of me where I'm like, boom, like I really want to do this. And with that being said, I know people want a better answer, and I'm going to give you the logistics. It's because I'm going to college in January to pursue radio broadcasting. So I'm going to be having Punk World Radio still on the air, but I don't want to have to juggle that Outlaw Radio FM and then my college, right? Because then it's just
too much.
Too much. Something's going to mess up, and I mean, it's going to be $11,000 just for my course alone. That's not including like living expenses in Ottawa and all that fun stuff. So right now, 97.7 is kind of just gone to sleep. But I will say someday, it most definitely probably will come back. I just can't say when.
Hey, and like you said earlier, you had the balls to venture out, right? And recreate a whole new platform per se with 99.9 Punk World Radio FL. Having the balls to, how was that process? You know, you done this for 5 years. Now you're about to do this. And the same legendary type of folks you were interviewing over here, you interviewing over here, bro. Blink 187. Oh, I mean, like, come on, man. Immortal, you doing your thing. How all that come about, and you know, what's the process? How did you just jump into that realm with that, man? Along with
I'll be honest,
interviewing professional wrestlers, like you doing. What you're touching up on is some legendary stuff, man.
So, I'll answer the wrestling part in a second, because the wrestling part kind of ties into 97.7 as well. As for the Punk World Radio, man, I will be honest. When I was starting to lose the passion and whatnot, I wanted to. I can't picture myself not being in radio. I can't picture myself just not being a DJ or a radio personality. Like, I can't picture myself waking up 9 to 5, going to work, coming home. I know she's sitting beside me, kissing the wife, and going to sleep. I need something for myself in my life. You know what I mean? I can't be a product of the system, just 9 to 5. I need something for me to, like, kind of do. So I knew me not doing anything is not an option. So I kind of sat back, and this was like, wasn't just a thought overnight. This was a thought that I really wanted to do something different. And I remember when I was a kid, and I still, even when I was in the hip-hop industry, I was still listening to, like, punk rock and whatnot. It was this guy, I listened to all kinds of music. But when I was a kid, I really loved, like, Blink-182. I still do. Sum 41, all those amazing bands. And I was like, I don't even recall even hearing a station that plays just pure punk rock in this area. So I'm like, what if I do something like that? So I kind of thought about it, but then I'm like, man, nobody's going to support that. Like, at first I was like, if I stop Outlaw Radio FM and do this, man, like, this is going to bomb hard. Like, this is such a switch. This is almost like going from, like, rap to country. In a way, it pretty much is. Like, it's such a huge aspect. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to try it, right? So I just made the station, started it up, and just started reaching out to people. I used the same logistics that I had with 97.7, and then I just was like, sweet, let's go, man. So everything I did with 97.7 is pretty much the same aspect I use. So when I reach out to individuals, I have like preset messages that compiles all my information. And in the first month, man, I had like Wheatus, I had Sum 41 and The Offspring, members of those bands all lined up in 1 month. Members of Gob, Another Joe, and I was like, shit, dude, like, I'm beginning. I don't want to sound cocky because I'm very humble individual, but I feel like there's not much. I feel like, what else can I not do in the radio industry, man?
Yeah, hey.
And to answer your question about the wrestling, sorry, Trey. That
Go
actually
ahead.
leads into 97.7 because I interviewed a couple wrestlers, independent wrestlers on 97.7. And now I work with a wrestling company as well. Shout out to Jack Kilby and Hannibal of Great North Wrestling. I work with them. And I mean, I actually interviewed Jack to promote a local event. After that, I got offered to be his right-hand man, so I get to work backstage. And I think now that I'm an interviewer, now that I do the interviews, I just reached out to a couple wrestlers and do it. I will say that's just my fun side of things. That's not really like something I'm doing full time. It's kind of like if it comes my way, it's like, sweet, I'm a wrestling fan, so of course I'm going to dabble into it a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's big, though. That's big. Like, I don't know where I could listen to interviews of punk rock bands or wrestlers like that on the radio. That's consistent. But man, the things you come up with, bro, and the things you have the cojones to do is amazing, bro. That's why, hey, you my bro. People don't realize. If they don't realize and know that, I don't know how they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are my guy. And speaking of that, not to cut off of that, but you done a lot for artists in San Diego. You have done a lot for artists in San Diego. I'm gonna say even if they don't want to say it out loud, but a lot of people from out here have been on your platform, bro. How good does it feel to be able to? And some of these people are blowing up. Like myself, it feels good to know that. Oh, I interviewed him way back before and told him he was going to be big, and you know what I mean? Gave him the shot. How does that make you feel when you see? First of all, talk about the love you have for Dago, because I don't know how many other states and cities where you've done so many artists from one city. You've done a lot of artists, interviewed a lot of artists in San Diego, had them on your on airplay and rotation. You done things, bro. Talk about it.
Man, as for San Diego, I love California in general, man. Obviously, San Diego, beautiful city. I've never been there, but I mean, it's San Diego. How is it not beautiful, But like I said, I love the West Coast music in general, man. Whether it's punk rock, whether it's, hip hop music, I love West Coast music. And as for individuals just, coming on the platform and now they're getting big, I love it, man. I love seeing people win. At the end of the day, man, even if I'm not saying I didn't see eye to eye with anybody, I'm just saying this in general. If I didn't see eye to eye with someone, I still want them to win, man. So I love seeing individuals blowing up, man. And I hope that, my station and what I've done helped actually them gravitate towards that, man. Because I love seeing people win. At the end of the day, the music industry is such an oversaturated market, man. Like, not even just artist-wise, even radio-wise, man. There's so many online internet radio stations, podcasts, radio shows. And then, obviously, on the artist side of things, there's so many rappers, so many bands. It's just like Spotify and SoundCloud gives anyone an opportunity to be an artist. So when I see individuals that I interviewed previously starting to make money, starting to win awards, starting to get record deals, it blows my mind, and I love it because, like I said, oversaturated market, it's really hard to actually get noticed nowadays just because of all the music. So when people do get noticed and I sit back and I'm like, I interviewed that guy, I'm glad, man. I'm glad to see that guy's winning. Because at the end of the day, man, everyone deserves to win. If you got the talent, you deserve to win. You deserve to get noticed.
And big up. I think Bloodstone, my guy, man, Bloodstone, the street preacher. I think he was the first one I've seen that you interviewed out here. I seen. It may have been someone else, but was he the first one you interviewed from San Diego?
I believe so, yeah. I believe that you actually saw that interview, and that's how we originally got connected. I remember that interview vividly, man. I remember chatting with Bloodstone about how he actually did work at the House of Blues, which still blows my mind, man, because the House of Blues is such an iconic venue, man.
He's still there. That's my guy, man. Bloodstone is in movies and acting and stuff now, too. Big up to Bloodstone, the street preacher.
That I didn't know. I do know he's one hell of an artist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. He's probably watching. If not, he's at work. Big up to Shout Body. We see you. I see you.
What's up, Shout Body? How you doing, brother?
But yeah, that is just amazing. I want to know, you for 97.7, Outlaw Radio FM, you did, you had a variety of mixtapes, and you done the awards show. Is that something you're gonna do with 99.9 Punk World Radio FM? Some punk rock mixtapes and award show.
Well, as for the mixtapes, I've never really honestly, that's a good idea. I have not really had them popped in my head yet.
I'm about to go create a mixtape now and do it first. Now I'm playing. That'll be dope.
But as for the award show, man, that was actually in the back of my mind, bro. Like, I actually was like, man, like, I want to do the award show for the Punk World Radio. Like, I do. It's in my mind, so it's obviously, but I don't want to do exactly how I did with Outlaw Radio. Like I said, I like a lot of the logistics and kind of how the setup I have for Punk World Radio is kind of like 97, like the way I reach out to people, like that behind the scenes stuff is pretty much the same. But I don't want both stations to be the same. You get what I mean? Like, I want to be done a little differently. So I've been thinking about doing it, but it's more like I start college January 8th. If I do the awards show January 1st, I want to make sure I can actually get the opportunity to make sure these individuals get their awards. Because the one thing, I'm not knocking anyone's hustle. A lot of people do award shows, and they never send the awards to people. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds rough. It does. It sounds rough. I mean, I've won a couple awards where, like, I don't really consider it an award win because I don't really have the accolade, right? That's why I just say 3-time award winning and call it a wrap. So I want to make sure if I award you with something, I want you to have something, whether even it's a certificate, it's a trophy, just something that way you can be like, hey man, like, look, I won.
Yeah,
you know
real.
What I mean?
It's real. I really won. That's what I did when I got my award for manager promoter of the year. I wish I could have took home podcast of the year, but it ain't over yet. And
but I will say this though, man.
It's about just doing what I love to do. You know what I mean? For the culture, for the person I am, to just want to help celebrate folks. You know what I mean? If you should be celebrated. If you're doing something that you love to do, people are watching, and you never know who's going to celebrate you. I didn't know you were. I didn't know I was going to be nominated, and then I was nominated for 2 awards. I was like, wow, okay.
I mean, you would be surprised, man. I had a few people that I nominated when I first started the awards. A few people messaged me upset that I didn't ask them first. And I'm like, I nominated you, man. Like, I think you're lit. Like, I mean, like I said, that's a pass, though. But I was still kind of like, what? But, I mean, some people are wired differently, I guess. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, I do what I do for the love of music, man. So to answer your question, most likely there will be an award show. I have been thinking about it. I want to make sure I do it right. You know what I mean? But I mean, I don't think it's going to be in January, but I want to say I have something up my sleeve that I'm thinking of doing, but I want to make sure it's special. I want people to get their minds blown.
I know it's going to be special, bro, because I know you. You don't do nothing small time. It's going to be something unique, big, and something that's going to be memorable. Hey, before we continue, we're going to have a 48-minute commercial, or 48-second, commercial break. Light them up if you got them, use the bathroom, do whatever you got to do if you watch it. We'll be back in 48 seconds.
Young God, I was born that. Don't ask me, ask OG, and they gon' say I'm on that. My mob tied, cause I get love from all sides.
Blood idol, learn to trap off that thug Bible. But candy paint on my whip's door, suicidal.
OG's a young God, OG's a young God, OG's a young God, OG's a young God. Cause real killers never rap about the demons that kill. It's young God and OGs, ghetto soldiers with heart. We like to war day and night, just don't get caught in the dark. When everybody's cool, nobody's acting a fool. We playing by different rules, no blinkers, we OGs and young God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're back. Hey, OGs and Young Gods podcast every Saturday, 6 p.m., 5 p.m. I'm sorry. Got my man Shout Body, got OGs and Young G's, Young Gods from all over. talking about bridging the gap between the older generation and the younger generation. Check it out. But back to Immortal. Hey, we chopped it up, man. I'm just so blessed, and I'm like a little kid on Christmas right now, man. I got DJ Immortal on my platform, man. Right now, I want to know anything we didn't touch up on that we need to touch up on before we go. I already kept you longer than I told you I would.
Hey, man, I don't even mind, bro. It's an honor to be here. At the end of the day, I don't do a lot of interviews. A lot of people ask me, and I don't normally do them. So, I mean, but it's Trey Boogie. Like, how can I say no to San Diego, California's own Trey Boogie? I mean, like, you can't say no to Trey. If Trey slides in your DM was like, yo, I want an interview, you better do that goddamn interview. I mean, it's Trey Boogie. You know what I mean?
That's love. That's love. I know you don't.
No, man, answer your question.
You don't even like doing interviews. You don't even like doing interviews. You interview. That's like me. People ask me for interviews. I turn a lot down. Like, I interview. I don't get interviewed.
I wouldn't say I don't like the interviews. I mean, I don't mind talking about myself and promoting what I got going on. I mean, cross promotion is one of the best routes to actually get noticed this day and age. But I don't want to knock anyone's style, but I will say that sometimes, you gotta generic questions. I'm not really a huge fan of. Like if you can take 3 albums to if you have 3 albums and you get deserted on an island, which 3 albums would they be? And it's like, man, like, for one, I'm not gonna, if I get deserted on an island, I'm not gonna plan, okay, honey, we gotta pack a suitcase, we're gonna get deserted on an island in about 2 hours, I gotta find 3 CDs, like, you know what I mean? It's questions like that where I'm like, that I want, that I answer, and I be professional, but it's kind of like, come on, man, like.
I hear you.
But as for, like, just me, man, I do my radio station, so I do the interviews kind of like Outlaw Radio FM. You can catch them on YouTube. It's kind of like a setting just like this, so far I've interviewed individuals like Cone McCaslin of Sum 41. I've interviewed one of my favorite bands, all the members Gob, which is crazy. I actually got a chance to kick it with them in Kingston last week. We actually, the drummer Gabe, I've actually grown a friendship with him since our interview, and he came out, like, actually during Billy Talent's set and, like, kicked it with me at the merch table and stuff, which still kind of blows my mind that you actually get a chance to be friends with people that you grew up idolizing. So shout out to them, man. My radio station's live 24/7. We got an official website, punkworldradio.ca. Pretty much, man, just kind of doing the same thing I did with Outlaw Radio FM, just dip my foot in a new genre of music, and I'm not going to lie, I was a little tad bit nervous, man, when I first did that, because, jumping ship and doing that, man, 9 times out of 10 it blows up in your face, but I'm blessed to be able to do what I do and actually say that, I own 2 businesses, you know what I mean? Well, whether or not I make a crap ton of money, it's still 2 businesses, man, so I'm definitely humbled to actually say I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm thankful for everyone that's ever supported me, because, I had a lot of negativity in my life before I got into the music industry. So now I turn that negativity into positivity. So when people say, oh, that guy's going to fail, I like looking at you and being like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong. So all that negativity I had in my life when I was younger, I took that negativity and turned that into positivity, man. And then I like watching people's words blow up in their face, So if anyone ever tells you you can't do something, just remember this, white boy. Foster homes, group homes, abusive relationships, treated like crap 24/7, being told that you're gonna end up dead or in jail, you're never gonna amount to shit. Just saying.
Listen, bro.
Negativity, positivity.
When they talk hip hop, right? DJ Immortal's name is going to be mentioned. DJ Immortal's name going to be, oh yeah, I did this interview with old boy in Canada, DJ Immortal. Oh, I did DJ Immortal. Oh, I won an award on. Man, you did your thing, man. I'm proud. I'm proud to be able to say you're my brother. You know what I mean? I'm proud to
bro.
be able to say you my friend, right? We started off on business, but like you my guy. You dig? You my bro. So, before we go, let them know how to follow you. Like you like to say, all things DJ Immortal. You know what I'm saying? And give your shout outs.
So first and foremost, my shoutouts are probably going to be the quickest thing. But I will say how you can find me is you can find me on Instagram at DJ Immortal Official. Twitter for X now, formerly Twitter. It's actually DJ_Immortal94. TikTok, DJ Immortal Official. I don't really do the whole TikTok trend. I mainly just post promo videos for the radio stations. So, I mean, you can follow me on TikTok. Just don't message me there because you won't get a response. You can also find me on Facebook at Brandon DJ Immortal Brown. As for the radio stations, you can find 99.9 Punk World Radio FM by Googling us, visiting our website at punkworldradio.ca. You can also follow us on Instagram at Punk World Radio and Punk World Radio on Twitter as well. As for the shout-outs, first and foremost, got to give a shout-out to my beautiful wife. If it wasn't for her, I probably don't know where I would be today. And I'm not even sugarcoating it. I know the saying goes, happy wife, happy life. But I'm being legit right here. This woman has made me turn into an individual that is absolutely positive. I really absolutely did not think I could actually be where I am. She supported me through everything, through hell and back. There's things I didn't even mention in this interview that she has sat by my side and sat there and supported me and believed in me when no one else did. So shout out to my beautiful wife, Victoria. I love you. Shout out to my good friend, Will. One of my only friends that I actually still have in my personal life that actually, still actually is here in my life. Shout out to all the amazing bands that I've interviewed. Shout out to all the members of GOB. Shout out to my boss over at GNW, Jack Kilby, for bringing me on to Great North Wrestling. Shout out to every single hip-hop artist that I interviewed as well on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM. Shout out to everyone that I've ever done business with. Shout out to my boy Trey Boogie, but last but not least, this is what I always do. Shout out to the haters, because if it wasn't for your hate, I wouldn't be here today. Trust me, guys. Shout out to the haters. I ain't saying who.
We love them.
I love them. Straight up, I love the negativity, man, because when people tell you, oh, you suck, you can't do it, I just go out and do it again. Because I know if I'm still getting interviews, I'm still doing what I'm doing, how do I suck? You know what I mean? Everyone has their opinion.
You made it by the amount of haters you have, man. That's what some OGs told me. So, you made it, and you're still making it, and it ain't over. And, me talked about it, and let me know when 97.7 Outlaw Radio come back. I want to, be a host, and I'm going to want you to be a host one day with me, a co-host with me. We talked about it, but I'm saying it right here so the world can hear it. I want you to be a co-host with me on one of these interviews one day, man. That would mean a lot to me, bro. Again.
Hey, man, you let me know, and I will definitely be there, bro. You already know, man. I'll drop everything for Trey Boogie. And I'm not just saying that because we're live, man. I will drop, everything for the one and only San Diego, California's own Trey Boogie.
Hey, love to you. Love to Victoria. I love y'all, man, and I'm glad y'all, stay rocking with me. There's so much they done. I'm gonna say they, right? Because besides every good man, it's their woman. So I'm gonna say they done so much for me. Not just let's chop it up, just helping me through this situation I've been going through. So that's for life now. I'm so ecstatic that you allowed me to be able to interview you. Man, this is
for the topic, man. I've given Vic a shout out. I don't mean to interrupt you, bro. I gotta say this. The reason why I say I wouldn't be where I'm at radio wise, and I've never actually even told people this publicly on an interview, but I'm telling you now. I do all the questions. I put them all together. I do the research, but I actually shattered my hand back in the day from sounds bad to say, growing up in foster homes and group homes, you got to fight your way to survive, I know a lot of people can relate in certain aspects, so I can't write very well. I can write maybe a paragraph, and then my hand will start locking up. It'll start looking like that the guy's hand from Scary Movie 2, you know?
The good hand. The good hand. Grab the good hand.
Right in the mashed potatoes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But, so with that being said, man, I literally, like, I do all my questions digitally. So what I do is I do the research, I type them out, and the wife writes them up in my books, you know what I mean? So she makes sure that I'm actually ready for interview time. So without her, like I said, I crash and burn because I don't believe in opening up a cell phone or playing with your cell phone during an interview. I like giving my full undivided attention to the artist or band. So, you know, like I said, if it wasn't for her, she helps hold me down, man. So just like going back to what you said, you know, behind every great man, there's a great woman. So I just want to give her a shout out and say, like, you know, she definitely helps me out behind the scenes. So it might look like a one-man show at times, but it's a one-couple show here at the 99.9 FM studios.
And I gotta say, because, you know, I've known you for a minute now. Y'all been hitting the gym, bro. Immortal looking okay? Okay, Immortal. Are you trying to be in the wrestling matches? You getting in shape, brother. You looking good, man. I'm proud of you.
I will be honest with you. The reason why, man, I wouldn't mind being like, now that I work for Great North Wrestling, and I've low key mentioned this to my boss. I don't really call him a boss. I mean, like Jack's so cool, man. At the end of the day, he's not really a boss. He's just someone you hang out with and kick it with and work alongside. So I'd say partner, you know. I kind of mentioned that I want to be. I kind of want to be mentioned I want to be a manager at some point, right? But I mean, the behind the scenes thing, being his right hand man, we make a good team, so I think that would be solid. But as for just the aspect of that, as for me getting in the wrestling ring, nah, man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I ain't got the cojones for that. I'm a fan of wrestling. I absolutely love it. Everyone knows that about me. That, you know, DJ Immortal is a fucking wrestling fanatic. But as for wrestling, no, man. I like working behind the scenes at Great North Wrestling and just helping out and everything. Like I got to drive, like, literally the British Bulldog's son, Harry Smith, in my car. All right, like, which is crazy because I got there and something happened behind the scenes. Jack had to leave and go pick up something, and he was like, "Yo, man, can you pick up Harry?" And I'm like, "Wait, Harry, like Smith, like the British Bulldog's son?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, of course I can do that." I hung up the phone, called the wife. I'm like, honey, I'm freaking out right now. I literally get the drive. We get the drive. The British Bulldog's son. I'm freaking out. So I had my little, like, clout moment that I'm like, all right, we got down to business. We made it happen. So definitely, I will be honest. No, I'm definitely not going to be stepping in the ring. The reason why, though, I ended up getting into shape and whatnot is because when I met Blink-182 back in May, I was the heaviest I ever was, man. I wasn't looking my best. I wasn't feeling my best. I was feeling sluggish. I'll just say it live, man. I was 2% away from jaundice. I wasn't doing drugs. I wasn't drinking. I was eating garbage. I wasn't eating healthy. I was going out and eating fast food every day. I was always on the road, always working. So I was like, man, I'll just grab a burger. And I went up to like almost 260 pounds, man. And I was feeling like crap. Went to my doctor, got blood work.
Is that like, big? Because I just got weighed, and I'm 254 right now, man.
But see, you're like, you got muscle on you though, bro. I was just fat. Bro. So I was like,
you ain't see my stomach.
I also have
you know, the side view messed everything up for you. The front view, you look good.
Yeah.
But turn to the side, you're like, oh Lord.
As a youngster though, man, I had like stomach issues, so it doesn't really help with that adding up. So I just looked at my doctor and I was like, man, I don't feel good. I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I don't like that. And then I look at the picture with me and Blink, like I met my idols, man, and I felt like, wow, man, there's a fat guy meeting my idols. Like a part of me was like, man, like I really wish that I was working out and I looked kind of like this. Like man, my chin was like double in that photo, bro. I looked like the Super Size Me guy, man, after he ate a shit ton of burgers. So, I mean, but I looked at it as a progress photo. You know, I met my idols. I got the opportunity, which they're San Diego legends, Blink-182.
Yep.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, I was like, man, I just didn't like the way I looked. And the doctor gave me that news. But the good news is I worked my liver back down to normal health. I'm working out every day. I'm feeling good. My energy's up. health is wealth and fast food kills, you know? But don't get me wrong. Enjoy a cheeseburger once in a while, bro, because, I mean, it's still fucking delicious.
Man. Hey, Immortal, love you, bro. Appreciate everything you done for me, you know. Man, you done so much for me, bro, and I appreciate that. And I'm not going to ever stop telling you that. Hey, I appreciate you.
And I want to tell you, man, you've done a lot for me as well, bro. That's all I got to say. You've done a lot for me as well, man. So definitely, it's not all about me, man. It's definitely about you as well, man. The things you do for the community, I want to say, man, like, not even just San Diego, bro, music in general. You know what I mean? I will be honest with you, bro. Like, you don't get enough flowers that you deserve, in my honest opinion, man. You are such a tremendous individual. You're kind, you're caring, you're willing to give the shirt off your back to another individual, man, to help them. I've seen you, you know, obviously not naming names, but I've seen you work with so many individuals and get burnt. You know what I mean? Literally get like backstabbed when you're doing nothing but positive things, man. So I want to say to you, man, you helped me out more than you could imagine, man, because there's many times when I was just running Outlaw Radio FM and I wanted to quit. There's many individuals that reached out for help. When I gave them the help, they were like, hey, Immortal, fuck you. And they were gone. You're one of the only individuals in the music industry, bro, that were loyal down to a T. And I can say this, man. You are one of the most loyalist individuals I've met in the music industry, bro, and one of the most humble. And I'm proud to say not only are you my business partner, not only are you my friend, but you're my brother from another mother, bro. So I want to give you your flowers on your platform and tell you, bro, that you're doing what you're doing, and by God, bro, you're doing it well. Keep doing what you're doing and don't stop, man, because Trey motherfucking Boogie is in the building.
You did. Hey, thank you for coming on, Immortal. Until next time, I appreciate you, man, and we'll be hollering soon. We'll be chopping it up soon. I'll holler.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Hey, it's your boy, Trey Boogie, your big homie. We got some more interviews coming up. Stay tuned. If you're not follow at Boogie's Flavor with a Z, 619, BOOGIEZ FLAVA 619 on YouTube. We're going to end it with a commercial, and then we out, man. Hey, I holla.
Times now, no procrastinating. If it don't benefit me, cut it off, that's amputation. I read the signs to minimize process elimination. Lead by example, these them grown men demonstration. Yeah, I'm still flame, but I just burned it. I got a grown man mind now, I learned it.
He's a young God, he's a young God.
F&G shit. Shout
Big homie Trey Boogie.
We slide.
Johnny
Sliding in the rentals, trying to run the milli up. In the southeast, Trey Boogie been a plug. Rubber bands on the blues, hella panoramic views. If you get into it with the squad, you can never lose. It's on the flow like Yellow Rider. I got your vibe on her toes like nail polish. In the city, we get respected from everybody. You about to pull up on Trey Boogie, now let's chop it. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. Let's chop it up. Got it wet, it's not a cut. Ain't worried about what nobody else got, cause I got enough. Me and Trey Boogie locked in, he threw a lob, I done heard the beat and sauced it up. Can't nobody go hard as us. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up. If you talking about the game, let's chop it up. If you talking about the hustle, let's chop it up. If you talking about the grind, let's chop it up. Talking about some fly vibes, baby, let's chop it up.